I've been hearing about a pretty strange problem lately. So, artists that are doing fine getting booked out when they're on the road at conventions or doing guest spots or whatever, and then they're struggling at home to find local clients. They think that it's oversaturated in their area. They think there's too many shops popping up. They don't know how to stand out against all of them. Guys, we have 14 shops within a quarter mile of my shop, and we stay busy, and we're not in a big town. It has nothing to do with the number of shops in town. It has, sure, to a point, maybe. If you're the only shop in town, you're not getting any business, then that's a problem. But after that, it's not about odds. It's about your intention. So today I want to talk about what it is that we're doing differently. And I'm going to break down how you can stop waiting around for your local clients to just magically find you and how to instead start showing up in the right places in the right ways so that they're not going to miss you. I want to challenge you guys to look up the population of the town that you live and work in. So I'm in Hanover, Pennsylvania. We have 16,000 people living here. That's a shit ton of people. And 14 shops for 16,000 people doesn't even seem like enough because tattoos are popular now. Like, it didn't used to be that most people had tattoos, but I feel like it's pretty rare now to find someone who doesn't have a tattoo that's like over the age of 18, right? So 16,000 in Hanover. In York County, which is the county that the city's in, 475,000 people. If I count all the surrounding areas, 750,000 people. Imagine a room of 750,000 people. That's so many people. So, of course, not all of them are adults or, at an age that they're going to get tattooed, and not all of them are going to be your ideal client. We can assume maybe 20% of those people are getting tattooed. It could possibly be a future potential client of yours. So even at 20%, that's 150,000-ish people. Still a fuck ton of people. So we want to figure out how are we going to give you the best chance of getting in front of these people so that they know you exist and they know what you do and they know that they want to get tattooed by you. So first of all, you have to figure out, what kind of person are you? Because there's different types of people. There's the people that hate social media. There's the people that hate in-person interactions. There's people who don't like either of those things. And there's people who don't care either way. And they don't really put in a lot of effort either way. I hate to break it to you, but you got to pick one. You can't do nothing and expect people to just find you and just give you their money to tattoo you. That might work sometimes, like especially if you work at like a walk-in, street shop, but you're not going to stay busy like that. So you either need to get on board with social media or fucking talk to people in person. It's like one or the other. You can't just not do either. Let's talk about in person first, because I think that's where most people these days struggle, at least the younger generation of tattoo artists. I'm not generalizing, you guys. It's just my experience. You guys don't like to talk to people in person. So one of the biggest things that's going to help you, unfortunately, is talking to people everywhere you go. The only way to improve if you suck at this is by talking to people everywhere you go. I'm so sorry. That is the only way. It just takes practice. It's not easy. I still don't really like talking to people in person and pretty much avoid it as much as I can. But, I can do it when I have to. And when I'm trying to like push, I got a new artist in the shop and I'm trying to like help them get booked. Like, I'm out there talking to people everywhere I go. If you're really trying to build up this skill, challenge yourself to talk to at least one new person every time you stop at a store. So if you stop at the same gas station every single day, talk to the person behind the counter. Even if they have the self-checkout, avoid the self-checkout, go to an actual person at an actual register, strike up a conversation with them. Try to talk to a new person at that gas station the next day. If you're stopping at the same place every single day, consider maybe a couple times a week stopping at a different gas station on the way home so that you can start to meet more than just like one person on your way to work. But talk to them about something other than just, hey, how are you? Because that is like a dead end fucking question. Ask them about something that they're wearing, give them a compliment. Just strike up any kind of conversation with them. And just try to mix it up. If you're, like I said, if you're going to the same place, seeing the same people every day, that's not really counting as like getting your name out there. It's a good way to form relationships with those couple of people. And so you don't want to stop talking to them, but you do want to have like pick that new person and just continue building up these like interactions every day. And once you get comfortable talking to people, you can start to drop into the conversation, like who you are, what you do. Showing, your own personal tattoos is a good way to get people to talk to you about tattoos. Like, how many times are you in a store or something and somebody's like, oh, I like your tattoos. Like, that is an opening. That is a conversation opening where you can say anything that will lead to, I do tattoos. Here's where I work. Don't just be like, thanks, and then keep walking. Like, if you're not busy, fucking, like, this is the thing. We have a cool job. It's really fun. It's a really desirable job. There are things about the job that are not desirable. There are things about the job that feel like a job, like there's things about it where you're just like, oh, I don't want to fucking do that. Well, too fucking bad. Like, you could still be working at Pizza Hut. You could still be, doing whatever shitty job you had before you were a tattoo artist. Like, if you have to do a couple things that aren't fun and a couple things that are frustrating or aren't as comfortable for you, like, so fucking what? Like, come on. This is this is where you want to lean in because other people aren't doing it. So if everyone you're in competition with in your town is not talking to people in person, is not getting out there and like meeting people and talking themselves up and handing out business cards, you've got one up on them. So that's where you want to fucking lean in because no one's doing this shit anymore. If you're not great at starting up conversations on your own, wear your conversation starter. So like I said, your tattoo showing is a good one, but if it's like winter or something, wear your tattoo shop shirt. Like if you have your own shirt, I used to have a shirt that said tattoos by Missi Blue, real fucking big on my back. Like, everyone probably assumed that I was Missi Blue. Like, and if they didn't, they're like, oh, who's that? And they asked me a question about it. You can give your shirt out to your clients. So if you aren't great at that and you want to lean on your clients, you have like super fans or something, let them do the talking for you. So give them some free shirts, like especially the people who come in all the time and like get tattooed, have a lot of like cool work on them. Make sure they have a shirt to wear so that when they're out and people see their cool tattoos and they see the shirt, they make the connection and they go looking to who's this person, Give them stickers to put on their car. Give them stickers to just plaster wherever they want to. Encourage them to plaster stickers everywhere. You can make a tote bag. And just business cards. Like I said, like having business cards on you at all times. I'm terrible at this right now. No excuse, but I am real bad at it. Anytime someone's like, oh, do you have a card on you? I'm like, no, I don't. But I also, like, I've already put in the work, put in the time, put in the reps. Like, my books are closed, so I don't have to do that anymore. But if I did, I would fucking have cards on me at all times. So make sure there's no, if someone asks you for it, you have it, or you like pull up an Instagram, pull up a QR code, something to get them to your social media. A thing that I used to do is when I would go to stores, if I went to like gas station, grocery store, whatever, I would just leave a couple business cards on the counter. I don't ask for permission. I'll just fucking put them there. And then the next person might see it and pick it up and be like, ooh, who's this? They might not, but there's a chance that someone might pick it up. And, they have all like most gas stations, grocery stores, gyms, library, like all these places have these community boards, like a cork board. Put your fucking card up there. Like, I know I go and look at all the cards and stuff on those just because I'm curious. I just want to see like, oh, maybe there's some, like, I need a handyman right now. Like, maybe there's a fucking handyman on this corkboard I could check out and see, if he's somebody I would want to hire. Whatever. I'm always looking at those. Maybe that's not normal, but they're there for a reason. People must use them. So fucking put a couple of business cards up there. I used to go out to eat and like all the tables, I would leave some on my table, and then all the tables around me before I left, I would just kind of like throw them on the table so that when they seat the next people for dinner, there's already cards on the table. I did it at bars too. I would leave in like all the tables, all like the high top tables. I put them all over. Everywhere I would go. I used to make postcards too. That's another idea you could do. So I made like, 5x7 postcard, and I would put it on any, first of all, I would go purposely to a parking lot and just fucking flyer the whole parking lot with postcards. Is insane. Back in the before times, before the internet. But, and then everywhere I would go, if I, parked somewhere at a store, the cars all around me would get a postcard before I left. And this brought me business. I had so many people come to me from seeing this, because then they're going to my page, they're looking up my work, they're like, oh, who's this person? Because it's not normal to get a flyer from a tattoo shop in your windshield wiper. Like, normally it's like, I don't even know what it is. It's like bullshit you don't want to deal with. But if you make it really cool, really pretty, something that they are like piques their interest, they're going to look at it and see what it's about, and, hopefully look you up. Another thing I've tried in the past was coasters. So I would get coasters made, and I would give them to all the bars. Like, we have a ton of fucking breweries here for whatever reason. We have I think we have 7 or 8 in a 4-block square over here. But I would go give them free coasters, and they put them out on their bar, and people would sit there all night drinking, looking at my name and my work and stuff. So, all of these little things, you can partner with local businesses in town and network with them and partner with them for events. Like, there's so many things that you can do in person that you can't do online. And it's going to take you actually going places and seeing people and speaking to people. I know a lot of you want to just go to work, go straight home, and you're homebodies, and that's fine. That's great. You have to go out of your way to go to places where there's actual people that you have to interact with. And all of these interactions, you want them to be leading to your social media again, or your website, or some way to get a hold of you. You don't want any kind of dead ends. You don't want to have this whole conversation with somebody and be like, yeah, I do tattoos at this place. Oh, I don't have a card. Or here's my card, but it doesn't lead to anything. It's just my name and the name of my shop. And they might have that card. They might lose that card. You want it to have something immediately where they can go to their car to leave and look up your Instagram and check out your work or whatever. Immediate, next step action for them. No dead ends. So that's all the in-person stuff. And if you're really consistent with this, it's honestly, just the in-person stuff is enough. You start creating those interactions with people and those connections with people, especially if you're partnering with local businesses. Like I was saying, imagine, so right next door to us, we have a barbershop. So imagine that I partner with this barbershop, which I have in the past, and every single person that goes in there is like, oh, what's with this tattoo shop next door? And they're telling them good things about us, and they're really promoting us and just, raving about us because we're awesome to work with and they helped us out. They're more likely to pass off clients to us and to recommend people to come to us because we've worked together in the past. So just keeping all of that in mind, there's so many opportunities in person, but you have to get out there. You have to get out of your house. You have to get out of your shop and go talk to people. All that being said, online, there are ways to find specifically local people online, and I would say it even requires more work than doing it in person, because in person, you kind of just do it as you're going about your day. Online stuff, you have to be really intentional about it. You have to sit down and focus on what you're doing and put in the work and put in the reps. First of all, the most important part of this is knowing who your ideal client is. If you haven't listened to episode 1 yet, go back and listen to that. It's all about figuring out who your ideal client is. There's a worksheet that goes along with it. If you want to just do the worksheet, you can get that at boundbyart.com/ideal client. So you can download that. It works you through all the steps of figuring out who it is you want to be tattooing, what you want to be doing, where they hang out, what their interests are, all of that. It's great. Do that first. Then you can move to this part where you're using this information that you figure out about this ideal client, and you're using it to track them down online and sort of stalk them a little bit in a very innocent, not criminal way. So you're essentially going to be meeting them where they already are online, and starting to form connections with them there. So one of the things that I like to do, especially this works too if you're traveling and you're trying to find clients in an area that you're traveling to, is hashtags. And I know a lot of people say that hashtags don't work. That might be true for putting it in the comments. I'm not really sure. I still use them regardless, but using hashtags to search for things is what I'm talking about. So for example, I do pet portraits. So if I'm looking for people in my area that would want pet portraits, those are going to be people who have pets, right? Or had pets at one point, I guess. So I'm going to be looking for hashtags for things like local dog parks, pet expos, pet stores. They're probably following accounts that sell, pet merchandise and food and training and things like that. So I'm looking for hashtags that have anything to do with any of those things. So, things like dog mom or cat lady or Frenchies of Instagram or whatever, breed of cat or dog that they have, I'm going to come up with a really solid list of what these hashtags could be. And then I'm going on a deep fucking dive and I'm trying to figure out what are going to be the best local hashtags that I can find the most amount of these people. Cause I might have some hashtags that are they work and there's a few posts, but I want the one that has a shit ton of posts and they're all local people. And I'm going to dive in there. And then I'm going to spend 10 or 15 minutes a day just going through all of the posts under these hashtags. And I'm going to be liking posts and commenting on them and, responding to other people's comments and things like that and just creating conversation. And these interactions have to be genuine. So I'm not going to just copy paste and comment a bunch of shit that doesn't make any sense or doesn't apply to the picture or just sounds really generic and not genuine in any way. If it's, they have a cute dog, be like, oh, he's so cute, whatever. I love, Cocker Spaniels, which I would never say that. But, just whatever makes sense. But as long as it's, it's genuine and it makes sense to what's happening in the picture, they're seeing these comments and they're thinking oh, who's this tattoo person that, because my Instagram is tattoos by Missi Blue. So they're saying, who's this tattoo person that's commenting on my picture? So cool. So they click on my page and maybe they're already thinking about getting a pet portrait. And now they're on my page and they see that's all I do is pet portraits. And they're like, oh, wow, follow. Hopefully, that's the goal there. But I have strategically curated my profile page to read like a website. So with my portfolio, my personality, my location, my contact information, answering any questions that they might have. This is something that I have spent a lot of time making look the way that it does for very specific reasons, because I want people to come to my page and immediately know everything that there is to know about me so that they can stay interested. And I don't want somebody to come to my profile and be like, well, I don't even know what state she's from. I don't even know where she is. This could just be a random person from fucking California that just commented on my picture. They go to my profile and they see Hanover, Pennsylvania. Oh, she's local, follow. This is somebody I could definitely get tattooed by because she is here. So once they follow me, I have my foot in the door and give them the opportunity to get to know me and to like me and to trust me. And hopefully someday get tattooed by me. That's the plan. That's the whole point of this, right? For most people, it's going to be a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. They're not going to see my profile and be like, oh, she does tattoos. I'm contacting her right now to get a tattoo. It's going to take some time. If you think about it, how many times do you have to see something before you actually buy it? I know for me, I'll see the same ad 5, 6, 7 times. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. Ooh, I kind of want that. And the more times I see it, the more I'm tempted to get it. And then eventually, if I can buy it, but I might have already seen that same ad or that same thing 7, 8, however many times before I actually buy it. So you have to stay relevant and stay, top of mind for them to get to that point. Another thing I'm using in addition to hashtags is geotags. So knowing how far a client is willing to travel to get work from you is pretty important. I think it's probably different for every area. I noticed that here in Pennsylvania, people will travel pretty far to get tattooed. In Florida, though, I feel like people would not travel 30 minutes to get tattooed. But that was a long time ago. So I don't know anymore. Like it might have changed, but I felt like it was really hard to get people to go, like just moving from one city to the next. They didn't want to fucking travel. And I understand I-4 is the worst. If you've ever been to Orlando, you understand what I'm saying. But knowing like what the average distance that people will travel to get tattooed by you can be a really great, useful tool. So the program that I use, Mana Scheduler, is great for showing me like all the different stats on people. So if you're putting in their addresses and stuff into the program, it'll show you how far away people are, like where they're coming from, like what cities that you're most popular in, and all of that. So if you look at all of the towns and cities within that radius, so for me, it's about 2.5 hours or 150 miles. So I'm looking at what are all the cities in the surrounding areas, and I'm looking at those hashtags. I'm looking at those geotags, and I'm looking up and like the posts underneath them and liking and commenting on those posts and things that interest me or these people that seem like ideal clients. But again, you have to be genuine. Don't copy and paste. You have to be real if you want to attract real people. You have to be honest if you want to be trusted, and you have to actually be interested in the photos, or you're not going to attract the right people. You're going to be attracting some fucking weirdos that you don't get along with. So my entire goal is to have every single person that sits in my chair be cool as fuck, and someone I want to hang out with all day, and somebody that I have stuff in common with. So I'm making sure that when I'm commenting on these photos, like these actually look and seem like people I would get along with, right? I know everybody's going to roll their eyes about this one, but Facebook, guys, Facebook is where it's at for really building relationships with people and gaining their trust and gaining their loyalty. It is the best place on the internet for having conversations and for looking for recommendations. If you're not already, join the Facebook community groups in your area. I'm in all of the groups in my surrounding area, the next county over, like everything, every community group that is tolerable, I'll say, that, I see these kinds of questions in where people are like looking for a tattoo artist, like who does the best of this kind of, tattoo, whatever. There's always someone almost every single day looking for a recommendation for a tattoo artist. Fucking get in there, because other tattoo artists are not doing that. And every time there is someone in there looking for recommendations, there's a million comments where people are like, giving their opinion on where to go and where not to go. But rarely do you ever see other tattoo artists out there commenting, even after they're tagged. So like, say they're like a past client of theirs tags them. I see that all the time, and they don't respond and they don't say anything. They don't even like the fucking comment, which is such a wasted opportunity to me. Like, fine, if you're booked out, cool, whatever. But if you're like actively looking for more clients in your area and somebody tags you on Facebook as a recommendation, fucking get in there and thank them. Like, just take the like less than 1 minute that it takes to respond and say, hey, thank you for recommending me, or whatever is going to make sense coming from you. But it's so important to get in there and say something, because if you think about it, when you're looking for something, so say you're looking for a fucking plumber or electrician, like you go in there like, hey, like, does anybody know a good plumber? You get all these recommendations, and I'm looking for two things: something that one of my friends recommended, or someone that's a real person that's responding back and saying like, oh, thanks for recommending me. I would do that, and I'm going to be like, oh, this guy is like on it. He's quick to respond. Like, I want to talk to somebody who is going to answer my question immediately. So I'm immediately interested in that person. And you can always just comment on the thread yourself and say like, hey, I'd be interested in doing that project for you. Like, here's some examples of stuff that I've done that looks, similar to that. Even if you're not the person that could do the tattoo. So say they're asking for, a black and gray realism artist, and you don't do that, but you could send them to someone that that will do a good job. You can get in there and just comment and say like, hey, I'm a tattoo artist. I don't do that style, but you should check out this person, or, agree with somebody else who recommended them. Like, yeah, as a tattoo artist, I know like this person's good. They might not, come to you for that tattoo, but maybe when they want something in the future that is your style, they're going to remember like, oh, that person was really nice. They like commented and helped me with this. Or somebody else might just be watching and seeing these interactions and seeing that you're always helpful and you're always nice and you're willing to recommend someone that isn't you, so that when you do say, hey, I would do that, I would do a great job on that, like I'd love to help you with that, they believe you. You seem trustworthy because you've already built up that trust by recommending someone else who would do a good job. If you have clients that are shouting you out, make sure you're thanking them for recommending you. And if it's usually the same clients like over and over again. I notice I have like these like cheerleaders. They're always on Facebook, just like always telling people about me, and it's great. And so I always try to like publicly thank them by name. Like I know it's going to say like at whatever name, but I always say like, thanks Kim for shouting me out, whatever. And then kind of start a side conversation with them. So if it's somebody that you tattoo frequently, or they have a sleeve, be like, oh, how's your sleeve healing up? Like, can't wait to work on that some more later. Looking forward to our appointment next week, whatever. Like have a real conversation with them, because everybody is watching, like everyone is seeing that, but it also just makes your client feel good. It reinforces like that you want them to shout you out and recommend you. Like you're rewarding them for like the good behavior that you want them to continue. It's also showing potential future clients that you care about your clients and that you're friendly with them and that you remember people and that you're attentive. And all of these things don't go unnoticed, especially, like I said, when you're the only one that's doing it. You start to just build this online reputation of being super friendly and appreciative and helpful. People are always in those groups also asking for advice, and it's a little bit scary sometimes, but they'll be asking like healing advice, like, is this normal? Should it be doing this? Or what do I do if it does this? And if you can kind of position yourself as the expert, that's also going to help you get more local clientele, because they're seeing you in there answering questions like, hey, I'm a tattoo artist. Here's what I would do. Here's what I think you should do. Like whatever. You're just answering random questions. All of those things like add up to, trust and, people liking you. So always try and get in there, answer any questions that you can. And then you kind of become the go-to person for anything tattoo related in that community. And that's a place that you really want to be. So another place online that you can find these local clients is your posts. So they're already there. They're already following you. They're already liking your posts and commenting. Just take the time to comment back. Don't just like their comment. Like take the time to actually form a response and say something to them. I see a huge difference in how well a post does if I'm like commenting back with somebody and I'm not just like responding a smiley face or a heart or something like that. Like I'm actually saying something, especially if it's someone that you know. The same names you're going to notice are popping up over and over again. They're liking your posts, they're commenting all the time. You may have never tattooed them, but they're watching, and they're watching for a reason, because they probably someday want to get tattooed by you. And the more you can engage with them and the more you can get them to like you and trust you, the more likely they are to eventually come get that tattoo. And you become like a real person to them. So sometimes people will just kind of like fangirl over you and you're not real. And they don't really interact with you. They're just like, oh, someday I wish I could. But the minute you start a conversation with them, in your posts, in your stories, whatever, then you become attainable. Then you become approachable. Then they realize that you're not so scary and that you are someone that they could start to see themselves working with. Another place to do this in is your stories. So if someone's responding to your story, write them back. Make them feel seen and show them that you are friendly and you're reachable and a real human again. This goes such a long way. And don't be short with them. Like if you don't have time to actually sit and respond like a proper response, that's not going to sound like you're too fucking busy to talk to them and you didn't take the time to answer them. Just wait until you do have the time. I like to probably overuse emojis because people can misread the vibe of your message if you don't. But just always be as friendly as possible and as helpful as possible, and respond as much as you can. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, but if you don't have like 1 million followers, it's like, I don't think I spend more than 10 minutes a day in my DMs answering people. I just think it's rude to not answer. You can use your polls in your stories too. So get people talking about themselves. People love to fucking talk about themselves. So let them vote on what you're doing. And then you can, post the results of your poll throughout the day. So something that I like to do is be like, asking, what should I draw for my next flash drop? Or should I make this sticker or that sticker? Or should I do this shirt or that shirt? What color should I do this? And people just love to have an opinion. So like, give them the outlet to have an opinion on what you're doing. And also it shows you who voted on what. So if you are going to do a flash drop, or trying to think of an example. So if you're going to do a new print, say you have 2 different options for them. Like, should I do a print on this or that? And, people voted for print A. Now you have a list of everybody who is interested in print A. And you can go through and actually message those people when you do actually make the print and be like, hey, you voted on this. I just want to let you know that it's available now. Like, if you're interested, here's how you can get it, whatever. So, that's just like an extra way to engage with people and, possibly sell some of your merch later on. So the entire idea is that once you get these people to your page and following you and interacting with you, that you really slowly start to earn their trust and let them get to know you and engage with them and share with them. And they become fans, and fans become clients. And, that's how you grow your local following. So granted, not all of these online people are going to be local, and that's fine too. But if you're putting in the work to, following the hashtags and the geotags and actually actively looking for those local people, they're coming to your page. You don't have any idea, like, once they're there, you're not going to really remember who's who. But if you're acting that way with everyone that's following you, and you're really engaging with all of those people that are following you, you're going to start to grow that local client as well. And the last part I want to mention is just having your booking process under control. So you don't want to, like, all of a sudden funnel all these local people in if you don't have your shit together and you can't handle it, and you're going to fucking drop the ball, because all that's going to do is give you a bad reputation for not responding to people, and it's hard to get in with him or her, and like, it causes more problems than anything. So if you're going to put all this effort into growing your following and growing your local clientele and trying to attract more people, make sure you have your booking process fucking figured out. So it's sort of like a funnel, right? So you have, X amount of people see your post that you're booking, and, only a certain percentage of them are going to actually click through to go book with you. And once they get to that point, if it's too hard, or there's too many clicks involved, or there's too many hoops they have to jump through, you're going to start to lose people, and people are going to start to drop off. So then, it's a matter of how many clients do you need? So for someone like me, who my books are closed right now, and when I do open my books, I end up getting more requests than I can actually book. I want more of those obstacles in place. But if I'm someone who's looking to get more booked up, I want to have the least amount of obstacles in place as possible. So that's a difference between, click the link in my bio, and then the bio link goes to the website, and then the website takes you to a booking form, and then the booking form, you have to do X, Y, and Z. So like, the more steps that are involved, the more people you're going to lose along the way. And that's something I want to do if I have too many people booking, if that makes sense. So if you're looking to grow, make it as easy as possible. It could be as easy as send me a DM. But if you can't handle that and you're not going to stay on top of that, that might not be the best option. So yes, it's easy for them to just message you, but if you don't have the time to invest in going the back and forth and messaging with people to get them to the point of booking, and you end up dropping the ball, and you end up like forgetting about them, leaving them in red, whatever, it's a waste of time. Don't do it that way. Do it the way that's going to be most efficient, the way that's going to actually get them to the end result of booking the appointment. So ease of booking. Something I like to do, so I use JotForm for all of my appointment requests because it has all of the information there that I need to get from the client. So it is a lot of questions. You could just have like the bare minimum questions on yours. That's less hoops to jump through. But regardless, I'm posting in my story. So booking day, I'll say like link in bio, and the link in my bio goes straight to my JotForm. There's not like extra steps. And I will also share the post to my story, and then in my story I put a link on like straight from the fucking story to my JotForm. So there's no extra step there. They just go straight to it. So make it as easy as possible. Next is your reaction time. So you lost some people in your booking process. And now if you take too long to respond to them, you're losing some more. Again, this is good if you're looking to have people drop off. If you're looking to have as many requests as possible and get as many people booked as possible, you have to be right on top of it, and you have to tell them what to expect. So if you know that you're tattooing all day and you're not going to be able to respond to messages until later, make sure it says that. Make sure it says, hey, if you want to book with me, like, here's how you do it. I get back to people at this time or this day, whatever. Set the expectations so that they're not like, well, they never fucking answered me. It's been 2 days and I haven't heard from them. But if you say, hey, I get back to everybody on Monday, like they'll know, okay, it's been 2 days, but that's okay because she's going to get back to me on Monday. So making sure that your reaction time is reasonable and it's as fast as possible to get those people in before they, drop off. After you get it booked, a lot of people are going to have buyer's remorse, basically. So they're thinking, oh, fuck, like, do I actually want to do this? Do I really want this tattoo? What if this isn't the right person? Are they going to fuck this up? Like, whatever. So if they don't really know you, they've never been tattooed by you before, all these thoughts are going through their head, especially if they're like an anxious person or if it's their first tattoo or something, they're going to have all of these afterthoughts. And something that we like to do is we're easing all of that anxiety, and we're reassuring them throughout the process. So we book the appointment. We tell them exactly what to expect. Here's when I'm going to reach out to you next. Here's when I'm going to collect the information, the photos that I need. This is my process, and I'm making sure that they feel comfortable with everything and they're reassured. And if they have any questions between now and their appointment, they can let me know. Like, I'm just setting everything out there for them so that they can be more reassured that this was the right choice. After the buyer's remorse, then you have the follow through. So there's still a small percentage of those people that might not show up still. So we are sending out, so again, through the program I use, Mana Scheduler, they send out a reminder text. So they will get one 4 days before the appointment, and they also will get one the morning of the appointment. You can set it to whatever you like. It's really nice. So I know 4 days before that they got a notification, and I can see right on the schedule if they confirmed or not. And if it's not confirmed, I'm probably texting them like, hey, what's up? Are you coming in? I didn't see that you confirmed the appointment. I just want to make sure you're still coming. So that way I'm not like surprised on the day of when they don't show up. Now, let's say they show up for their appointment. Everything goes great. They love their tattoo. What happens after that is also really affecting your local clientele, because now this person is like a walking ambassador for you. So you want to make sure that they had a good experience. You want to make sure that they continue to feel cared for and that they feel welcome back to come back. And a lot of times people will get a tattoo and they never come back because they're like, I didn't really feel like connected to this person. Like, they didn't, I don't feel like it would matter either way if I came back. But if you really start to check back in with them, to really create that connection, they're going to be more likely to come back to you. They're going to be more likely to send people to you. So we're checking in, like, how's the healing going? We're checking in, I like to check in around day 3 because that's really where shit goes fucking wrong if you don't catch it and like they are, doing something weird or something's happening. Like, that's a really good time to check in, like 3 days later, like, hey, how's it going? Just want to make sure you don't have any questions, whatever. And because you might say that before they leave, like, if you have any questions about healing, feel free to message me. But they might be like, I'm not going to bother them. Like, they might still hesitate to actually reach out. So I'm doing that for them, taking that, anxiety away from them. So how's healing going? Whatever. hopefully catch any problems before they become a big problem. And then I'm also checking in maybe like 4 weeks out to see, like, does it need a touch up? Like, how did it heal up? Are you looking to do any other projects? That's a great time to be like, hey, what are we doing next? And the same thing during the appointment. I like to do that too. Like, what are you thinking about getting next? Like, do you have any other ideas that you want to do? Here's my, want to do's. I like to keep all of my pre-drawn designs posted up on my station. I encourage everybody to do this so that when a client is sitting there getting tattooed, they're looking at all these drawings. They have nothing else to look at. What are they going to do? Like, especially if it's like a couple hour tattoo, they're just sitting there staring at nothing, looking around the room. So if you have all these drawings sitting up there, they have all this time to sit there and look at them and be like, man, that's really cool. Man, I really like that tattoo. By the end of the appointment, they're like, I'm going to get that. Like, I want to book that. If no one gets that by next month, I'm going to book that. So, asking them, is there any other projects that you want to book out before they even leave is a great idea. And then just checking in at that 4-week period to see, like, do you need to touch up? And if you can get them back in to get a touch up, that's another chance for you to book another appointment for them. I think the biggest secret to growing your local clientele is really just finding those diehard clients and, those cheerleaders, those people who will basically get anything that you draw and like love your work more than anyone else, and really leaning into them and really pouring into them and just encouraging them when they shout you out, because, just you introducing yourself everywhere you go is only going to do so much, but people recommending you it goes so much further. So those things combined is really going to help you grow your following, grow that local clientele, and hopefully get your books filled.